And I'd love to hear your perspective on just the importance of not just trying tough cases, but also the media component. Why are both important?
Yeah, the media is just so critical. I represent underdogs and people who are fighting for a cause for the most part. The media can be a powerful partner with you in terms of getting the message out. So I've always used the media as almost a member of our team. And if you're good to them and you, don't ever misstate things to them and you take good care of them, they will be powerful partners for you. And I've used the media almost as my own marketing and advertising machine for the last 25 years.
So for someone who's listening to this podcast and they might be thinking, well, how can I get the media to give me attention on my cases? Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah, well, first of all, you have to have the case, right? The case that attracts the interest. But you also have to understand when there's an important media moment. So right now we are representing the family of a 20-year-old black man who was shot and killed by a Columbus police officer last August 30th. His name's Donovan Lewis. He was asleep in his bed at 2:30 in the morning in a very low income neighborhood, and 5 Columbus police officers showed up at 2:30 in the morning to serve a misdemeanor arrest warrant. Now, I don't know about you, but they're not serving misdemeanor arrest warrants in my neighborhood. Police officers came into his apartment. They also had a canine dog. And within less than a second of opening his bedroom door, as Donovan was trying to get up out of bed, a police officer shot and killed him. We had a major press conference last week because of the news in Memphis. And what we learned in Memphis is that city moved very, very quickly to terminate police officers, to charge them with homicide when it mattered in a matter of weeks. In Columbus, Ohio, we've been 5+ months since this police officer shot this unarmed black man. And police officer is on paid administrative leave. He's not working. He's still getting paid, and he hadn't been charged. And so we had to recognize that was a moment for us to speak to the people of Ohio, and we did, and I thought it was very effective. So first you have to have the case, but you also have to understand what the angle is.
Yeah. And it's interesting because with a lot of the difficult cases that you tried, let's say particularly the ones that involve, let's say race relations, right? How have you kind of built a brand around you being a white male, right? That's taking on these types of cases. Whereas you see, we've had him on the podcast, Ben Crump, right? He's also involved in a lot of these types of civil cases. What do you think it is about, you and your brand that kind of attracts, those families to reach out to you?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to pretend that it wasn't a big question. You're a white guy from this privileged community in Columbus. How are you possibly going to understand what my family goes through, right? And so my response to that is, you're right, I don't know firsthand what happens in those communities, but what I can tell you is this: police shootings disproportionately affect people of color, typically young African-American men. And what happens when that occurs is that largely the black community gets up in arms. And the point I made is that it is time for all of us to get angry and to get on TV and say, enough is enough. Yes, I'm not a black man, I'm a white man, but it should be just as outrageous for white men and white women as it is for black men and black women.